This afternoon is a huge pleasure to have Mr. Dorian Yates here, who I'm sure everyone here knows.
Thank you. Welcome to my hometown. Yeah, I've been living here for about 12 years, so welcome to Marbella, everybody. Probably sussed out why I live here, if you've been here for a few days. So welcome, hope you're enjoying the weather, and look forward to sharing my experiences and my knowledge with you, whatever I can help with.
100%. I'm going to try and make this as interactive as possible, so I want people to ask questions, so we can make this as helpful for everyone in the room as possible. The first thing I'd like to ask, Dorian, what do you think is the biggest thing you can give to people from a mindset perspective that you learned from, say, your career in bodybuilding, been 6 times Miss Olympia, 6 years in a row? Like, what's the biggest thing you can give to people from that?
Honestly, it's not just in the gym. It's life, you know. The mind is really the key to what you're going to experience and whether it's going to be successful or not successful. In the gym, outside the gym, in a business, in a relationship, in anything, your mental projection, your mental energy, the energy that you're giving off, if you like, is like a magnet. So whatever you're giving off kind of comes back to you. So it's bigger than just the gym. It's like literally everything. You create your own life, your own reality, whether you know it or not, with your thoughts that you're giving off. So what I learned in the gym, as far as mental discipline, visualization, all these techniques that I kind of learned and used in my life in the gym to be a kid in Birmingham with no family, no job, reading a bodybuilding magazine and turning that vision into me being on the cover of those magazines later on. So, I mean, if you were to look at the odds of that happening, it was very, very slim, but it was because of my focus that it happened, yeah? So, you got to decide what it is that you want, first of all. In life, in the gym, when you're walking in the gym, why are you there? Why are you there, and what is it that you want to achieve? Question number one, to be answered by yourself, not by me. And once you know it is what you want, then what have you got to do to get there? And to be realistic with that. And any goal, anything that you're aiming for is made up of steps, yeah? I don't know, you want to buy a house, you've got to save money, you've got to do steps, right, to get your house. The same thing is to get results in the gym. First of all, you have to know what it is that you want, varying goals, different things. So you have to know what you want and what it is that you have to do to get there. And then you break that down into little pieces. Because if you have a goal of being whatever, I don't know what your goal is, you want to lose weight, you want to get bigger, you want to win a competition or whatever, it's over there, yeah? It's over there, you can focus on it, but it's a bit vague because it's over there and it's quite far away. Like if you want to climb the mountain, maybe you can't even see the top of the mountain because it's got clouds there obscuring it, so it's so far away. What are we going to do today towards that goal? Today, what are we going to do? Which workout are you going to do? Or what are you going to do today? A small step to get to the long goal. So I always had some long-term goal in mind, whatever that would be, maybe for the year. In my case, when I was doing bodybuilding, it got to be a competition every year, but it could be anything. But what is the journey to get to that goal? It's broken up into little pieces. Each workout, right? So 50 weeks times 4 workouts, 200 workouts in a year, more or less, yeah. 200 workouts. So each one of those is like a brick in the building that you're trying to build, yeah. So each one of those workouts is vitally important. That day that you're doing it is your goal. That day, just concentrate on that day. If you get a good workout, if you do everything properly, if you rest, you eat, that day's a brick on your building. If you're not properly focused, then you're not going to put a brick on your building. So you're not going to build, my point is build up to your goal in small steps, because this makes it digestible. Okay, so you have a goal, want to do this, okay, but how am I going to get there? And let's be realistic about it. Oh yeah, I'd like to be, you know, whatever, Mr. something, Mr. Olympia, or like to win a contest. Okay, that's nice that you like to do that, but do you know what's involved and are you prepared to do it? Let's answer that question first, because if you're not, then let's just do something else. Yeah? So be realistic in your goals, be prepared to do what you've got to do, and it's an accumulation of all the little things you do that in the end builds the goal. So each day is important, each day you should know what you're doing, why you're doing it, why are you going to the gym today, what am I going to do, what's my goals for today? Base that on maybe what you did last week. So therefore, keeping a record is essential in my mind. Otherwise, this whole thing's very vague and a waste of time and energy, which is terrible. This is limited resources, time and energy. You only have so much, right? So try to make an efficient strategy to get to your goal and be prepared to do what it is that it takes to get to that goal. I think it's a good little opener for people to ponder.
100%. One of the things I think people struggle with is limiting beliefs and lack of self-belief. When you were in a council estate in Birmingham, did you have the self-belief automatically, or was that something you had to build in yourself?
You build on it, really, through that process. So I started reading the magazines, and my first goal was like, you know, I started doing weights, and I realized that I was more genetically gifted, if you like, than the guys, my friends around me and the guys and everything like that. So it's something I could be good at. To what extent, I really didn't know. But all I knew is, like, I was in a detention center when I was 19, so a lot of guys in there would be, probably turn out to be professional criminals later on, and I definitely didn't want to do that, so it was like a turning point for me. And I saw that going to the gym and doing bodybuilding was something positive, right? Put positive out, I'm going to get positive back. What it was, I didn't know at the time. I kind of vaguely dreamed that I might be some kind of champion, like maybe a British champion, and open a gym and not work for anybody, and just, that was my first level, yeah. So I was not thinking about Mr. Olympia at that point. Perhaps I was, but I was not really telling myself that's a real goal right now, yeah. I was aiming a bit lower, and you build on your confidence. I mean, I do it with, I see it with people that I train. They come to train with me for a week, so we do 4 workouts, and every workout I'm working on their, it's not just training, I'm working on their mind, yeah, and telling them, hey, did you see what you just did? You did that. Ah, okay, you did it because Dorian Yates was standing there and shouting at you, and like, that's your motivation for today, so you got a bit more, but actually, hey, I didn't touch the bar, it wasn't me. I was simply the motivation. You did it, so well done, you did it, and there it is. You can do it next time. You just, what's your motivation next time? It's not going to be me. This is come from you, but you did that, and they're like, hey, yeah, I did that. Yeah, that gives them a little bit more confidence. So every time that you come up against some difficulty and you overcome it, you're going to get stronger. Every time you have a problem in your life, or you come across some difficulty, same in the gym's just a microcosm of life, let's say, yeah? So every time you have a problem and hey, we all got knocked down, right? Life knocks you down sometimes. But the point is, are you going to stay laying there, or are you going to get up? Whichever one you choose to do, again and again, becomes the habit, and it becomes you. That becomes you, yeah? So it's up to you who you want to be, and every time you do something and you overcome it, you get more resilient and stronger. So the same with confidence. You just build on it, and you overcome things, and you say, hey, look what I did. Am I great? Talk to yourself. You're great. Really. Guy told me to do this one time, and I felt very strange. Like, he said, I wanted to get up in the morning, look in a mirror, and say, hey, you're great, man. I love you. I love you. Just 3 times. You're great. I love you. That's some weird shit to do. That seems weird. But it's very powerful, very powerful. I had a guy training with me today, and he's like, I feel shitty today, I feel tired. I'm like, shut up, man. I don't want to hear it, and I don't want you to say it, yeah? Because all you're doing is reinforcing and making that stronger. So what's the point to say that, yeah? The whole time when I used to get ready for Mr. Olympia, I'm dieting, I'm tired. I mean, you know, you're getting your body fat down to ridiculous 3% levels. It's not normal, yeah? You feel exhausted, really. You just go to the gym and you train, and you get through the training, and then you just like got to pick your feet up and walk. But I never wanted to say to somebody, I feel tired, I feel hungry. Because what's the point? It's just going to make me feel worse. So be careful how you're thinking and how you're talking, and try to get some control over that, because most of it got these thoughts going around all the time from the subconscious, and you've got no control over them. So I would recommend just 15-20 minutes of your day to do some meditation. Not in particular, like, doesn't really matter what it is. Put some headphones on, do some meditation, and give yourself a bit of stillness, so you can recognize your thoughts coming in, because we all get the negative thoughts, but where are they coming from? Who's saying this? And it's like, I used to work a couple of years when I didn't have much money. I started bodybuilding. I worked on the security, right, on the doors and everything. So I was only young, 21. So I worked with older guys, and I said, look, give you some advice. If you see some people coming towards the door that look like they're going to be a problem, stop them there. You know, because once they're inside, it's a mess. You've got to get them out. There's other people in there. There's glasses. It's like, you don't want that, yeah? So stop them there. It's the same things with the thoughts. You don't want them negative thoughts in your mind creating problems, so you try to recognize them before they get there. And meditation is going to help with that, to like slow things down. So there's a lot of techniques that I've used and learned over the years. Actually, like sitting down and meditating is one of the more previous things I've learned. Probably only been doing it about 10 years. But with bodybuilding, I did more visualization. So I'm actually sitting down and seeing my workout before I got there. It doesn't take long. Just put yourself in the right frame of mind. Why I'm going to the gym today? I'm going to train legs. Okay, I'm going to train legs, or whatever it is. Okay, this is the order of the exercises I'm going to do. This is what I did last week. I did 10 reps. Today I must do 11 or 12. I got to do that. That's just, you know, all that's got to be in your mind. Otherwise, you're not going to give 100% in the gym. You're not going to push yourself to really uncomfortable, which sometimes you need to do to get the best results. You're only going to do that if you have a really convincing reason to do it, a goal. So keep your goals in mind before you go to the gym.
You have a huge amount of drive, and one of the things we touched upon earlier with Dave Kennedy, who's got a fitness business that's crushing it, is the passing of his sister and how that gave him so much drive as a trigger. Do you use that type of like bad things that have happened to you as like a driving force, and if so, how do you almost like control that?
I used it so much that when I got to be champion, I was a bit confused, because what do I do now? I'm not the underdog anymore. I'm not, I don't have anything to be angry about. So I don't know. I mean, nobody knows, but I would hazard a guess, if my father didn't die when I was 13 and that whole thing didn't happen, I might have never done bodybuilding. I might have just been happy to follow my dad doing what he was doing. I don't know, but that kind of tore my life apart. Then I left home at 16, and I was just kind of angry, yeah? I was angry. Like a lot of young guys are angry, especially if you haven't got your dad there. So then I was in a detention centre at 19 with a lot of young, angry guys. But that was just destructive, so I wanted to take that energy that I've got and use it in workouts, and that's what I did. In the workouts, I was like, I'm going to show you, basically. I want to show the whole world. I want to show my dad that's not here. Whatever fuel you can use that. And in a way, it's therapeutic, because I didn't get into trouble, I didn't get into fights, because I'm just burning all that out in the gym anyway. And that was my way of getting the energy. It was always like, I like to hear negative things. I like to hear it when people said I couldn't do things. That was the best motivation for me. So I used all that negative stuff, And it's like you're turning some negative energy, actually utilizing it and making something positive, rather than letting that energy destroy you. I'll take it out and then put it into something positive. So that's how I did it, and it's a bit hard to explain. I just always felt like I was destined. It wasn't a choice. I was destined to be different and do something different, and I had some kind of different physical/mental capability that I even forgot about. I actually, when I was at school, I was 11 years old, and we had this thing where you run around the 400 meters track for charity, and by 20 laps, all the kids had stopped running, yeah? And I just carried on running, and I did 45 laps around the track. Everyone had gone home, and the teacher was like, Yates, I gotta go home, and I gotta sign the thing, how many laps you did, so you're gonna have to call it a day now. Yeah? When I stopped running, I just collapsed on the floor. My legs gave way, but what I experienced during that was just some kind of different space, different zone, where I didn't feel anything. I just kept running. And I forgot all about it until I started bodybuilding, and I started pushing myself. I was like, hey, remember that thing? And the thing is, like, nobody said anything. Like, 11-year-old kid basically running half a marathon around the track with no training. Isn't that a bit unusual? But hey, nobody said anything. My parents didn't say anything. Teachers didn't say anything. So I just forgot about it. But later on, I remembered it. And I like to explore. I like to push myself. That's, you know, I like to do that. Even now, I don't really lift heavy weights because I've got a lot of injuries and it's not what I need. But I mean, I ride my bike up the mountains, and you know, quite often I'm halfway up there and it's really hard, yeah. And I have this voice saying, "Look, man, you don't have to go all the way up if you don't want to today. Come on, man, you've done, well, you won 6 Mr. Olympics and all these things, you don't have to go up there today." I'm like, fuck off. I'm going up there today, yeah, because I said I'm going. I said I'm going, and I'm going, yeah, and that's it. Yeah? So I'm still practicing it, yeah, because I still want to keep that resilience. I do, you know, I do the sitting in the ice and going in the sauna and stuff like that, because you got to feel uncomfortable sometimes. Yeah, we're in this modern world with all the technology and all the comforts and all. That's great, yeah. We don't die of the Black Plague or all that stuff as well. We've got more medicine. Everything's comfortable, yeah, but many people are depressed. Why are they depressed? Because they're not having to experience some stress and some discomfort. That the human mind, the human body, it operates optimally with a certain amount of stress. It needs it and to be optimized, you know. So when you have some stress from the cold, from training, from and so on, you get more resilient and your body optimizes itself, and the brain as well. You're not supposed to be like comfortable all the time and on social media, and this is like an artificial world, yeah. And you need to get out there and push yourself, and also be outside in the nature is important these days, because we're all, you know, got one foot in the AI world kind of thing.
One of the things you clearly a master of is consistency. What would be your advice to speak to that?
Again, it's planning and goal setting, and you've got to be fairly rigid with it, but again, you've got to inject a little bit of flexibility in there, because your body's not a machine, yeah? So you can have a plan, but sometimes maybe you need an extra day off the gym to recover or something like this. It's very important not to push yourself stubbornly when it's not in your favor. But you need a plan, and you need to have in your mind that thing that I want, or that place I want to go, that I want to get to, that goal, consists of all these little steps. Yeah? So I've got to do all those steps, and I've got to be consistent with those steps. And I mean, speaking something is very powerful, as we were saying earlier on about speaking positively or negatively. And I find it very powerful to write things down as well. And I do mean write it down with your hand, with a pen or a pencil or something, yeah, on a paper. Because when you write something down like a goal, in your hand, it's with your hand, you're doing it with your hand, you're not typing on a machine or something, yeah, you're writing it down, and you can look at it. Hey, sign it if you want, make a commitment, yeah? And then it's there, isn't it? It's on a piece of paper, it's in your handwriting, you put it there, and you made that goal. and you made that commitment, so stick with it. With it, you know, if you feel sick or if you feel overtrained or something, take a day off, but consistency is the key. You know, every journey is made up of steps along the way, and you got to enjoy it. You know, it's so good if you're just going there and pushing yourself and punishing it and you're not enjoying it. Enjoy the journey. You know, I used to compete like once a year, right? But it was every day leading up to that was the competition. Every day in and out, day in out, and yeah, I pushed myself, and it was really uncomfortable, and sometimes I didn't want to do it, but I pushed myself, and I look back and I say, wow, amazing journey. And you go in the gym and you push yourself physically. I mean, it changed your whole brain chemistry. That's what I'm talking about. Why you're getting depressed is because you're not triggering the brain chemistry. At least you're not triggering it naturally. You know, dopamine, a reward chemical. You go on Instagram, you look and you scroll and you get something and you see somebody replied and you get a kiss or something, I don't know, whatever. You're getting these little dopamine releases, but you're not doing anything. It's not real. You're in a screen. So for your own mental health as well, it's important to push yourself physically.
What was the big thing that separated you from your competitors staying ahead of other people? And what's your thoughts on using competition to drive success?
Well, it was a competition with other people, but as I said, that's once a year, right? So every day is the competition with myself, and I would write down in the diary, this is where I'm at, this is my weight, this is my bench press, this is, you know, basic exercises, and next month I would like to get, but it's a little bit, man, a little bit. You know, if you put 5 pounds on the bar every month, or is that 12 or 5, that's 60 pounds, right? So just to give you an idea, little increments, try to get 1 rep, try to do a little bit more each time. That's the key to ultimately to getting to the goal.
And with that, in terms of beating your competition, how did you keep yourself motivated to stay ahead of people? Because a lot of people, when they get some success, get very complacent, which is why it's unique when someone stays at the top for a
I know, it's good I watched that Rocky movie before it happened to me, you know? So I always remembered that. So I'm in England, or at this point in the 80s when I was British champion, like all the top people in bodybuilding, the pros, the stars, everything was very much American based. If anyone from that time, you will know, yeah, the Mr. Olympia was there, all the famous gyms were there, the magazines, there was no internet, so everything was in America. And so I was the English guy, I was the underdog, right? And then people would, oh, you're from England, you won't do well because you haven't been in the magazines, you don't know the judges, blah, 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 blah. I said, no, don't listen to that, yeah. Went there, got second. Then I went to Mr. Olympia, got second. I'm still the underdog, right? But then Lee Haney, who was the guy that I got second to in my first Mr. Olympia, he retired. So now the title's open, and I'm actually the favorite now, logically, and everyone's telling me. And I really had a wobble for a moment, because I didn't know what to do with that. So I'm not the underdog anymore. I'm not the guy from England who everyone tells, it wasn't everyone. Probably a lot of people would say, yeah, you're going to be great, but I just chose to listen to the ones that were telling me I wouldn't be good, because that motivated me. But now, I'm favourite for the Mr. Olympia, and I was like, wow, this is a weird feeling, because I haven't got that underdog. I'm going to show you, I'm going to prove. That was my motivation, right? So now I'm favourite for Mr. Olympia. So I could be the best in the world at what I'm doing. I mean, I was trying, but now it dawned on me it was there, right? And that was a strange feeling. Then I was like, why not be the best? I mean, I don't feel like anyone's really putting out and training harder than me or giving more of their self to this thing that I'm doing. So I had to change the mindset. And then it was like, once I'd won the Mr. Olympia, and I am the Mr. Olympia, now all these other guys, right, they're trying to come and take food off my table for my son and my family. That's how I then got the right mindset. Like, I'm going to keep this now. Everyone's going to try and take it off me. Now I bloody worked and I'm going to keep it. Yeah? So they're the enemy trying to steal from me, and that's that got me into that like battle like mentality in the gym again, because now I wasn't having to prove, I wasn't using that. Now I was like trying to protect what's mine and stay on top of the mountain, and all these guys are trying to come up and pull me down. So it's whatever works for you, you know, to get you in the right frame of mind to do what you've got to do. I use that story as well when a guy came to train with me and I was explaining what you're going to do in the set. Like, you're going to go until you can't do anymore, yeah? But then I want you to imagine, because I knew the guy just had a little baby 3 months ago. I said, just imagine there's a guy with a gun who's going to shoot your baby in the head if you don't do one more rep. If that was real, do you think you could do it? He was like, yeah. So I was just, whatever, like, picture you got in your mind to get the most out of yourself. So it's little mind tricks, and it depends on the person, like what motivates them and what's important to them and what tools they can use to get in that frame of mind.
One of the biggest challenges I think some people in the room might struggle with is that they get some element of success and they naturally start to take their foot off the gas and get a bit complacent. I see that a lot with trainers in the fitness industry. They make 10, 20,000 a month and then they're like cruise control. What would be your advice for people in that position?
Well, that's what could have happened to me. I was making a joke about the Rocky movie, you know, but in the Rocky movie, Rocky got to be the champion, yeah? Then he got the big house and he's got everything and he's on TV and he got his suit on and he's comfortable, yeah? And then Cobra Lang comes along from the ghetto and he's fighting for his life, literally fighting for his life. So I got to be there, I got to be on the top, and I said, I'm gonna like insulate myself from that as much as possible. So I had a lot of little pressure, maybe a lot of requests from my sponsors who was paying me a lot of money to go and live in the States permanently, so obviously they could utilize me more. I just saw that as they're going to try and use my time, and I won't have the time for myself to train, to rest. I want to keep everything the same because that's what got me there. There's the problem, at least with athletes. You're hungry, yeah? And you do everything to get there, and then when you get there, there's a lot of, you can make money, but you've got to go over there, you've got to go here, and now your training suffers, so you've got to keep a balance. So I said, I'm going to stay in Birmingham because it's pissing rain, and you know, if I go to California, there's beaches, there's mountains, hot girls, parties, lots of stuff, right? Potential, and also people are going to ask me to go here, to go there, and all this stuff. They're going to take my time. So I tried to keep myself in the same environment, pretty much. But you know, it comes down to what do you want and what is success. You're earning 10 grand a month. Maybe you're comfortable and you're happy, and that is your success. So it just depends how you define it, because sometimes you can make more money, but it could be miserable. So is that a good goal to have? So it's not always about the money. I had something that was bigger than that. I could have made more money, but maybe I wouldn't win so many Mr. Olympias because it took my time. So you have to define yourself what is success, and do you want to keep grinding and pushing and growing? That's an individual choice. Some people get to a comfort level and they're good there. So you've got to decide what it is that you want and what it is that you need.
How important was you mentioned keeping yourself around in the right headspace, in the right environment, like the community of people around you in your network?
Everything's energy, man. Everything's energy. People are energy. They have their energy. They have their, you know, their vibe. And I kind of insulated myself a lot from people, so I kept myself around family and people that was on the same journey as me. So most of the people that I would spend any time with were from the gym, so they have a similar goal. This is what I'm doing, right? And we all like have this instinct to help people, right? You know that want to help them, they're struggling and stuff. That's all good. But some people you can't help. I mean, you can only like show the way, and people can walk or they can't walk. But some people you can't, you know, they don't want to, or whatever their reason is, you can't make them, and you can lose energy trying to do that as well. So It's better if you spend time with people that's in the same energy, the same mindset. If you're a go-getter and your friends like stays home and doesn't work, and I mean, you know, what's the point hanging around together? You got two totally different goals, and if you can't bring him up, he's going to bring you down. So, yeah, you got to be careful with what you surround yourself with, people, environment, and so on.
What do you think was something in your career, looking back retrospectively, you could have improved on, even from a mindset perspective or practicality?
Well, I probably could have like enjoyed it a bit more, relaxed a little bit more. I probably could have avoided some injuries, but I just say that as like a matter of fact, and maybe there's some things there that I can pass on that other people can learn from, but I'm not I'm a believer in everything happens for a reason, and everything that happened in my life, whether you perceived to be bad or good at the time, was, you know, a step into where I am now, which I feel very happy and very good, and where I'm at and everything. So everything happened for a reason. But yeah, I could have relaxed more. It was like almost too intense, and could have spent a bit more time with the family and a bit more relaxed, and probably still would have been okay, but it was just total tunnel vision, and it did get me where I am and where I wanted to be. So I wouldn't change it, but yes, I could have relaxed a little bit more, enjoyed a bit more, and the reason that I got injured is just because of that. I wasn't listening to my body. My body was like, I need rest, I'm breaking. It was, again, fuck you, do as you're told. Yeah, but that can at some point be detrimental. You've got to listen as well. That's why I said it's good to have these goals, but got to be a little flexible along the way.
In terms of like being flexible alongside your goals and achieving what you want, how do you think people can try and find the happy balance between that, or do you think that's just a process each person needs to try and figure out themselves?
It's a process, mate. It took me 62 years. I'm just about in the middle now, you know, from one extreme to another extreme, and gets in the middle. So everyone's got their time, but as I said, it depends. Everyone in here has got different goals, yeah. And if you have a really extreme goal, like I want to be the best in the world at something, it's gonna take extreme methods. Right, so other things are going to suffer because you're going to put all your energy into this one thing, and then maybe you can be really good at it or the best or whatever, but it doesn't mean that I'm speaking for a whole room of people that have that goal. So it depends. A more balance is to have your goal and balance that with your family and everything, but if you want it to be the best at anything, it's probably not going to be possible. You know, it's not a balanced thing to try to be the best at something, but at some point hopefully you found balance, and I feel I did, but some people never do with that drive, and then when the goal's gone, they really don't know what to do. And that took me a lot of time to say, what am I going to replace this with? But then the answer is not going to replace it, because it is what it is. But what you're going to do is appreciate that what you've achieved and what freedom it's given you in life. Now, all the things that you couldn't do because you were just in a tunnel doing that, well, here, you got time, you got some money. Well, like, try to look at it like that. Instead, I was looking at like what I lost and who am I now, because I don't know who I am without being that guy. I've been that guy for so long. So there's all that I had to go through and kind of like, you know, find out who is Dorian Yates without the bodybuilding. And at some point, I actually kind of almost stopped training, and I did yoga and I went on a plant-based diet, and just totally opposite. And I was losing weight and I was losing muscle, but it was almost like I did that because I had to drop that identity a little bit, you know? And who am I without the big muscles, and who am I if I'm not Mr. Olympia? And what I found out is like, that's a big part of me that can still exist with other things. So that's kind of where I got in the end, but yeah, it's definitely been a process.
Awesome. I want to open this up to some questions. So Anyone want to raise a hand when asking questions?
Don't be shy.
Nick, do you want to go? Nick White?
Nobody wants to know what steroids I take. Come on. We go into that. There we go, lighten the mood.
We can go into that if you want. Has anyone got any questions? Let's go, Adrian.
Well, seeing as you asked it, who are you without your bodybuilding?
Who am I? I am the same as you, as I believe. I'm just consciousness. We're all the same thing. We're all conscious, and then we're all just making our idea of who we think we are, right? Because I might think something differently today than I thought last week. So there's a core to Dorian Yates, but I try not to say, this is who I am, and this is what I believe, and this is right, and this is wrong. And that's what most people do, because it's easy to do. We're trained to think like that. So I'm an ever-evolving idea of myself. That's who I think we are, all are. We're all figuring out who we are along the way. So I think I'm balanced now. I think, I have a very good connection with whatever you want to call it, beyond this physical realm. I know there's more than that, for sure. So I believe, you know, it looks like we are born and we die and that's it. But I think we're ever-evolving kind of energy. You know, energy doesn't disappear. It only goes somewhere, yeah? You've got a TV set with electric going in it. You'll get a picture on there. You turn the electric off. The TV looks dead, right? But electricity is still somewhere. So I'm very curious. I've been curious about, I went from being totally physical to being more, you know, spiritual on the whole journey, which, you know, I'm still going through it, but I feel I've balanced like the two sides now, and I'm just really enjoying my life at this point, and I feel like I can look back on my younger years and be very grateful for the younger Dorian that really, like against all odds, just put the head down and did the work and kept going. And you know, I had my friends who were going out, my friends had cars, I didn't go out, I didn't have a car, all that stuff until, you know, the whole thing got some momentum. But without those early years when nobody believed in me and me just keeping my head down and pushing, you know, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys today. So I'm very grateful to that younger version of myself that was able to do that. And because of that, now I can live the life that I'm living now and enjoy the training for a different reason. I'm just as passionate about what I do, but now I'm training and I'm supplementing, and my nutrition and everything is just, now I want to be the best version of myself, physically and mentally and spiritually. So that's what I train for, and that's what I do. When I say train, I mean breath work, meditation, different things like that. So it's all still fascinating to me, you know, as it was when I was doing body. Look at this, wow, I got a bit bigger, I got a bit stronger. This amazing, this process that I'm in control here and I'm changing my body. I just still feel the same, but in a different way, you know.
Question from?
Well, it was a bit of a curveball kind of question. Kind of asked what
Sounds
I
good.
wanted to ask.
Come on, give me a new question I've never heard before. I love that.
The churches in Holland are currently being made empty for climbing walls and gyms. And I went on a Sunday to the gym,
Yeah.
and I went and trained there. Honestly, I was going to post some content, feeling great about it at gym on Sunday. But then when I got there, I just kind of, it dawned on me. I was like, this is basically how I see the world is. We are in the point that we are today because the white generation were Christians and the religion worked to get us to this point here. And now all these gyms, all these churches are being shut down and being replaced by gyms. I just thought it's quite ironic. You talk about a spiritual journey and a physical, and then I've had the same journey, and I've also kind of had the same kind of thing. On an amateur level, I also reached a high point, and at that point I was asking myself, what do I do now? And now I'm back 10 years after competing at the world stage, kind of wanting to make a difference, and I'm kind of asking myself, do you think it's, everyone's given themselves big goals. My goal would be to bring a variation, a new kind of idea to replace the religion that's being lost at a drastic rate. And I don't really believe that we should all be going, God, praise the Lord, and like be really heavy like that. I believe that the principles that we learn as bodybuilders to kind of completely put ourselves into the spotlight, say like, that needs to change, that's good about me, I need to keep going, be disciplined. Do you believe that someone like a bodybuilder, simple young amateur bodybuilder, can instill those kind of ideas within us, and that there's a space for that?
Well, I'm not sure that we're civilized because of religion, because if you count all the deaths and the torture and the murder through history, then you will find that 90-something% of it has been caused by religion. So religion is just a man-made construct. It's man-made. Spirituality has nothing to do with the building. A building, a church, a cathedral is just a building made of bricks. It's got nothing, in my opinion, whatever you want to call it, God, the Spirit, is inside you. Is inside you, and the church got you looking somewhere else and telling you that you're going to find God through them. It's a trick. That's the greatest joke. God's inside you. You don't need to go to a priest. You don't need to go to a building. You don't need to go anywhere. You need to find it inside yourself. So that's the truth. So my opinion, if the churches are being turned into gyms, then they're a bit more useful than they were in the first place. Honestly, that's my opinion. Man-made religion. It's an organization to control people, and you don't need it. I think that's what Jesus' character was saying, and it wasn't so popular because of that.
Questions about JJ?
Yeah, you're gonna have to use the mic, mate, because I can't hear you. Thank you.
So do you have like a specific mission now that you're working towards? Like, a lot of us will be pushing coaching and business. Is that similar for yourself and like what you focus in?
My business?
Just in general, like what do you work towards?
Yeah, what am I doing? Well, my main business is DY Nutrition. That's my supplement business, which is mainly, well, it is at the moment, sports nutrition and bodybuilding supplements. Well, we've just brought a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility, so we're doing our products out of there. And what I've been really interested in and studying and everything for the last 10, 15 years as related to, I don't like to call it anti-aging, because obviously everyone ages and everyone's going to die, but to age better, you know, how can we optimize ourselves, have a better quality of life as we're getting older, and slow down the aging process a little bit maybe. So all the supplements kind of on that market, on the wellness market, and everything else, we're going to be manufacturing ourselves over the next 6 months. So that's really my main business. I do some coaching, which I really enjoy. I like to be in the gym with people rather than online. I do a little bit online, but I don't enjoy it so much because I need to be there with the person and see them and feel them and get into the workout. So I do that, but I do limited amounts. I don't advertise or anything. People ask me to do it, and I had a couple of people today coming to do a week where we do a certification. So I do that, but honestly, I think the thing with personal training is like, it's very easy to get burnt out. Especially if I see personal trainers in the gym and they're like, 1, 2, 3, yeah, come on, yeah, that's good, yeah. It's everywhere, it's everywhere. Because if you're 8, 9 hours in the gym, you're like, kind of burnt out, I think, especially if you do it every day, so you're not focusing on the clients, so at least for me. 1 or 2 hands-on, that's enough to me. But I got other, things to do, emails and calls and everything. So that's what I'm doing, like as a business, and I make some appearances and talks somewhere as well. And I've got my podcast, which I'm doing now and then with some interesting people. So that's my business. And then myself, I train every day, but not with weights. It depends. Some days I do cycling. Some days I do like Pilates or yoga, like more stretching. Some days I do weights. So this body thing is ongoing, but it's different goals now. It's not like the aesthetics of how I look and everything. It's more about functionality. And as I said, I find that fascinating as well. Like, hey, how much vitamin D do I need to take to get in the optimal range, and all these things that I'm playing about with, as I did with bodybuilding. So it's still, that's part of it's still exciting. So yeah, everything's balanced now. I'm not a workaholic, must do, I've got people that work for me that do that. I'm just enjoying, and my input for the company is really on the formulation of the products and which kind of products and so on, stuff like that. So I've got a lot of people I work with that's very good, fortunately, which gives me a bit of free time to, to enjoy life. I live here in Marbella. It's beautiful. I've got mountains, I've got beach and everything. So I don't want to be that guy that's, running on the wheel until the end. So it's all balanced now. Everything for me is about balance.
After so many years of having your mind override your body's need for rest,
Yeah.
and then all of the injuries and the stress and the pressure that builds up from the accolades that keep stacking up, did you ever decipher a framework or something that would help you decide between discipline and self-compassion in those tough moments? Is it ever black and white?
Just about got there now, I think. What helped me a lot actually was yoga. I mean, I don't know if people know here, but I've had a lot of experiences with psychedelics as well. And when I was in that, it was like I was being told, like, hey, you need to straighten your body out, man. It's just like you crushed it, and you need something else. And it just came to my mind to do yoga. I didn't really know anything about it, apart from some silly stuff that women did. But okay, let me have a look into it. And I started doing it and started getting in touch with that more feminine side, if you like. Well, it's got to be more relaxed, and you got to breathe, and you got to let it go, and all that stuff. So through the yoga and meditation and awareness that brought, and the psychedelic experiences, then that got me to be more balanced. But I still got to watch it, Still got to watch that guy that just comes, just do it. Oh, quiet down. Don't need you anymore. Be quiet. Yeah. So that was a whole transition for me, doing that, going to do yoga and breathing and getting in touch with all that. Where inside the gym it was just drive, kill, whatever, So that part of me was well developed, that pathway, because you've got pathways in your brain, like a road that you take to work every day and back. You don't even think. One day you've got to turn off right to go to shops, but you don't. You just carry on, right? Because it's habit. So slowly, the change came, and it wasn't really like I must change. It just happened, So I think I got a good balance now. But as I said, if you want to be like really, if you have an extreme goal, then it's extreme methods. You're not going to be balanced. I'd like to the lady over there who's been trying for a bit. I noticed, yeah.
Thanks very much. Unlike a lot of people in the room, I don't work in the fitness industry, but I work with the mind, working with the subconscious, which is what we've spoken about a lot. What percentage would you say your success has been based on the physical, going to the gym, versus managing your own mind, the messages you tell yourself, managing your subconscious?
Well, that's a good question, and not a really an easy one to answer. Well, I used to look at some guys that I competed against, yeah, in the professionals, and they were amazing. But I know they didn't train like consistently hard as me, always pushing. I knew that sometimes maybe they broke their diet and stuff like that. Like, so I had a little psychological advantage there. And I know that, like, I really know that I couldn't give more than I give. Like, you know, even I look back now, could I? No. Right. Yet those guys got close to me. So I would argue possibly they were more physically adventurous than myself. So what made the difference? Made the difference was the mind, because the mind is the one that's going to decide if I break my diet today. The mind is the one that's going to decide how hard I'm going to push myself in a gym and how far I'm prepared to go for this goal. So what separated me, and as I have said this many times in the past, what separated me from the guy that was second or fifth, or I mean, they're all good, right? I would say would be my mind, but how much was the mind and how much was the physical? It's really difficult to say. That I just know that that was the key for me beating people. Did it give me 10% more or 20% more advantage than them? I couldn't measure it like that. But all I know is that's the reason I was the best, not anything else.
As an athlete, I assume when you had like bad days or bad competitions or bad workouts, like it was kind of like straightforward. Okay, I get back to my workout, I get back to my diet. It's like ABC, right? So how have you made the transition now that you're not competing anymore? When you have like a bad day in business, you have a bad day in life in general, because it's not as easy as, okay, well, I do the workout or I eat the things that I'm supposed to do. Like there's a lot of variables. So how do you translate that?
Well, bodybuilding was tough, yeah, but the thing that I liked about it was I was in control of everything, yeah. And honestly, I'm just going to be honest, I didn't have a bad workout. I never had a bad workout because my mind was always right. So let's say I woke up and I thought, I don't feel like it today. But it's a genuine physical thing. I feel tired today. I really feel like I need an extra day's rest. In that case, I'll take that extra day's rest because I need it, yeah? But you've got to be able to discern between I feel physically tired and I need to rest more to recover from the workout and get the benefit that I'm looking for, i.e. bigger and stronger. Is it that, or is it just I'm just being lazy and I just don't want to do it today? You need to know the difference. I knew the difference because my goal was so important that I would never have a lazy day. So if I felt like, wow, today just don't feel like I've got it, I'll just take the day off and I'll go back the next day when I'm physically and mentally ready. So I didn't have a bad workout. But hey, business is a whole different creature, yeah, because I control the gym, my sleep, my supplements, my everything. It was all under my control, right? Business is not like that because dealing with lots of factors and lots of people, and for me that was more stressful than being a sports person. So I had to learn to handle that, and that's where it comes back to the meditation and getting control over your mind. And what is a good day and a bad day? You know, it's only how you're going to react to it, right? So let's not call it a good day. Things didn't go the way you planned they would go today, the way you expected them to go. So it's a bit of a surprise, yeah? But tomorrow's another day. So you just can keep control of your emotions and your thoughts before they get building up and they're getting on a negative, start spinning in a negative way, and then it's a bit hard to stop. So it's all about having control over your thoughts and trying to the thoughts which are not useful to you, try to just stop them and eliminate them and switch them. Oh, switch back. You got a negative thought, switch it to a positive thought. Well, you go back to the negative thought, I know, yeah. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Just do it again, man, until it's like, you've forgotten about that. You know, that loop, that negative thinking loop. So you can't control everything which is going to happen, but you can try to control how you're going to react to that situation. That's all. You can't control everything, all these factors that you may be dealing outside. So you control that you react to it in the best way, the way that's going to be the best, most beneficial for you. It's your choice, you know.
What was the happiest period of your life and why?
Now I would say now, because I feel satisfied, I feel really appreciative of life, and every day is because I decided to do that. You know, I can go look at some flowers and just like, isn't it amazing how that flower grew? Look at the pattern, look at the symmetry of the flower, and it's amazing. It's just shit everywhere that you can do that with. Or I can just walk around thinking some negative stuff in my mind and not even see this stuff that's around me. So I choose every day to appreciate life and look at the good things. So I would say I'm the happiest now, because I wasn't really happy when I was doing bodybuilding. I was driven. I had to do it, and I was driven, and I was driven, and I was driven. But it's hard to find a picture of me with a smile. I ain't got time to smile, man. I'm thinking about the next workout. I'm thinking about going forward and going forward and going forward, and I'm not looking around me at all. So I'm glad I did it, and it was a massive achievement. But I wouldn't say I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't really happy. I'm happy now. I appreciate life. Now I'm in that good spot, and every day I'm going to keep thinking that.
You spoke a lot about wellness. What was one thing you wish you started earlier that you feel would have helped you like longer term?
What's one thing I wish I did earlier?
So like, I know you did yoga.
I'm not that guy, man. I don't wish I did this or that or change things. It's just things that I learn, and I'm learning all the time. You know, so some things it wasn't like that information wasn't available. There's continually more information being available. So I'm learning all the time. But the only thing, I mean, I don't wish, but definitely I could pass it on to other people. I'd rather put it like that. Like, just try to like enjoy, when you're on this journey to your extreme goal or your goal or whatever it is, like, don't forget to also try to like be present and enjoy it along the way. I think that's the thing. I was in such a tunnel that some things I didn't notice. And I would like to, like, I didn't go to my son's sports days. I didn't go to like the parents' evening sometimes if I was busy, or if it's time to sleep or it's time to eat or something like that. Just in a tunnel like that. So yeah, I wish I'd just, not wish, I'd just, maybe if I did it again, let's say, I would have done that a bit more.
So you speak a lot about like mental resilience and having a large goal. Is there anything exercise-wise that you do, let's say meditation or things like that, that you find help with that and staying sort of beating procrastination and staying driven?
I mean, the meditation and breathing, I do like Wim Hof breathing. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. I just went to visit him about 2 months ago. Actually did kind of podcast with him, so that's online. So breathing can help your nervous system, help calm down your nervous system. And meditation. And doing actually like the yoga, because that's like opposite to what I used to do. You know? So it's making me more, not just flexible physically, it's making a bit more flexible mentally as well, rather than just absolute tunnel vision. And maybe your goal's not an absolute huge goal. Maybe it's different to mine. You know, I'm just talking about my experience with you guys so you can get the benefit of it. Well, your goals obviously would be different to mine. Well, yeah, that's it, to give you a bit of flexibility, the breathing, meditation, stretching work, yoga, Pilates, whatever it is, it's all about stretching. And, you know, to do the yoga, you got to relax and everything. So there's all new ways for me to think that kind of de-stressing, and when you're more relaxed, you can think better and you can operate better. You can't, like, when we're under stress, it's like you kind of freeze and you can't think. Your brain can't work properly when you're under stress. So it's just to manage the stress that inevitably will possibly come along if you're going for something. It's not going to be an easy ride all the way, right? So it's just to give you that flexibility, let's say, to handle those periods.
First, hello. I just want to ask you, who do you think is the greatest bodybuilder for all time, in your opinion?
You're a man of good taste, obviously.
Obviously, I'm bodybuilder, that's why I'm asking this question.
What was the question? The best bodybuilder of all time. I don't know, man. It's a matter of opinion. Probably Ronnie, I would say.
Why is that?
Because he's bigger and he's in shape.
Yeah, I agree with this.
You know, you got eras in bodybuilding. You know, you might have early 70s Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sergio Oliveira is debatable, yeah. And then you got the 80s, it's Lee Haney, he's the king of the 80s. Then you got the 90s, Dorian Yates. Then you got the early 2000s, it's Ronnie Coleman, and after that, Phil Heath, I guess. Those are the outstanding bodybuilders. It's hard to say who's the best because it's eras, you know, and each era was different or better or what do you like. So all those guys were like the best in their era. If we all lined up on stage, I mean, I don't know. Everyone has their opinion on that, but I would say probably most people would say Ronnie would win that competition.
I agree. Thank you.
Go last three other stuff.
All right.
Going back to monthly goal setting, once you've set your goal at the start of the month, like what would have been your process for reflecting on that and reviewing that throughout the month?
Yeah, so I'd have a goal, and then it would be a little, it's a month, right? So that's basically maybe 15, 16 workouts. So it's not going to be a huge, you know, don't put an unrealistic goal, because then you're going to be demotivated, right? So a little goal, and even if I didn't get exactly that, I got near it, or maybe I got a bit past it. You know, it was just having something in the mind that I'm chasing for, and at the end of the month, then I'd redo it and set it again for the next month. So that's how I did that, and then usually I'd have a long goal, which for me was a competition at the end of the year. I usually compete once a year, so that was the end goal. That's when I get it, yeah. And each month is like a step to getting there. And in bodybuilding, you have different phases as well. So you'd have the off season, where you're eating more and you're training heavier and you're building the muscle. And then you're going to have the pre-contest phase, usually like 3 months, slowly coming down, reducing the calories, doing more cardio and everything like that. So it came in phases. But yeah, each month I would take a check. This is my weight. That's like 10 different exercises, cover the whole body. That's kind of, you know, where I'm at with those. And this is my diet, and these are supplements I'm taking. And so then if I made a change to my diet or my supplements or my training, I would make one change. And then I'll like, let's assess that. Instead of like people get confused, I changed this supplement and I changed my pre-workout and I changed my training, and you know, it's confusing, right? Try to be analytical about it, because as I said, even if you do all this, like as well as you can and as planned as you can and learning what you can, it's quite a long, difficult process. So, I mean, why make it harder by not keeping a record of your work and not planning and all that stuff? Yeah, don't waste time and energy. It's terrible.
Everybody's like aware of body dysmorphia, when you're at that top level, do you still experience that? And if so, was you ever satisfied with your, like, fully satisfied with your physique?
Yeah, well, I think maybe I looked at the whole thing a bit differently from most people, because when I started training, I was already, I was already strong and athletic and muscular, like more than my friends and stuff. So I did it more as like, this is a sport I can be good at and maybe a profession as well. So I didn't start like, I got to get bigger and stronger because, people respect me more, or the girls will like me more, or whatever. None of that was important to me. I probably already had a physique that would be good enough for that. So it wasn't like I was doing it more, I saw my body almost as like something else. It was almost like a sculpture I was working on. So it was my body, but it wasn't. It was like a bit removed in my mind. So it's like a project I'm working on, and I'm building, and I'm using the training, I'm using my energy and my determination to build a little bit more muscle here. So I was building a statue. I mean, and really, in a way, that's what it is. You're a statue that goes on stage to be judged by, like, how is your statue, So then at some point, I retired, and I didn't really need that statue, but I mean, this is what I do. I go to the gym and I train, and so over a period of time, I realized, yeah, this is what you've been doing for a long time, and this is what you're good at, and this is what you're comfortable at, but is it what you need now? And that was an exercise for me. I said, I'm going to just do something different. I'm going to change my diet, and I'm going to lose weight, and I'm going to get smaller, and I don't care, because maybe I'll get more flexible at yoga, and maybe I'll run up the hill quicker. There's something else I was looking for, and it almost bothered other people more than it bothered me, because I'm like, I'm not insecure about this. I don't care. Like, I'm still me, even if I'm not as big as I am before, because I'm not identifying with that making me. It was like, that was a sport. It was a sculpture I was building. I'm not doing it anymore, and this sculpture's too heavy to carry around. So what's the use? I can't even get any clothes to fit me. Like, no use, right? A lot of people find that hard though, because they have another way of looking at it. I'm this guy, and I'm big and I'm strong, and that's why people respect me, and that's why they like me, and maybe if I get smaller they're not gonna, and blah blah blah, all these things that go. So I never did bodybuilding for me to feel better because I want to get bigger and stronger. It was a sport. So my view was different, and then at some point, I was like, when I competed, I was off season around 21 stone or 300 pounds, and then after I stopped competing and using steroids and everything, I was like down to like 18 stone, but it was still too big. So I did all that, and I dropped down to 16 stone, and people are, oh no, you're getting skinny now, how do you feel? I'm like, fine, how do you feel about it? Like, especially the young guys, young guys, oh, you're that guy, and don't you want to be that guy anymore? I said, how many 300-pound guys do you know at 70? Nobody knows any guys at 70 that's 300 pounds. Maybe that answers your question, why I'm not 300 pounds anymore. Yeah. So my point is, I didn't need it. So for me, it was fine. I wasn't tied up with that. It wasn't body dysmorphia for me. It was just a competition, and I wanted to see how far I could take that competition with the body. So it was a little bit different for me, I think.
One last question, Michael?
So I suppose after spending so many years in bodybuilding and the health and fitness industry, what would you say is the biggest problem you see today in the industry itself?
The biggest problem, I don't know if it's a problem, it's just an observation, that there's so much information now. It's almost too much. People are really confused, and the industry perpetuates that, I think, because it's a big industry and everyone's trying to like stand out, yeah? So everybody has to have an angle or something different. Got to be different, yeah? But the truth is quite basic, yeah? And some exercises are better than others, and you have to rest and everything like this, and so on and so on and so on. But somehow the challenge and the bloody hard work is getting to the wayside, and that's what it is, yeah? That's what's important. Is this exercise better than that exercise? Yeah, maybe that one's better than that one, yeah? But if you do that one, that's a perfect exercise, anatomically, without maximum effort, or you do a lesser exercise, balls out effort, well, the lesser exercise is better. So it's somewhat the heart, the spirit of the gym industry that has changed. I was with my wife in Birmingham. We went to one of those gyms, you know, where there's no people there, and you just got to like go online and pay and get a code and put it in the thing and go in and all that. I know there's a big gym, 30, 35 people in there. I said to Gal, "Hey Gal, have you ever been in a gym where nobody looks like they work out?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "I know, we're there right now." And a lot of gyms look like that to me. All right, so you've got these big, shiny gyms with all your equipment and everything, 10 leg presses, 100 treadmills, whatever. But nobody's sweating. Nobody's working hard. So it can be all technical, and you can have all this equipment and everything, but you've got to do some bloody hard work, and there ain't no way around that. That's what's missing from the industry, I think. That spirit of like, let's challenge ourselves, let's push it, let's find out what we got here, and let's enjoy that, because it's great. You feel great afterwards after you really push yourself, like, wow, I've really done something, yeah? That's what's missing.
If you were to add one thing to try and help people finish the last 6 months of 2024, what would your advice be to them to finish up?
Spend the rest of the 6 months in Marbella, I think would be the best idea. Don't go back to England if you're from England. Don't do it. Stay here.
Big thank you, Dorian. It's a big round of applause for Dorian.